Welcome back to Smoky Ribs. I'm Russ Jones. Take a look at what I'm doing today. This is a Wagyu brisket. This was sent to me by Wodagyu. I'll have a link in the description box if you're interested. We're going to attempt to be my first time doing this, but we're going to attempt to do a hot and fast brisket on the Lonestar Grillz 24 by 36 offset. We're going to get started right after this. A little earlier, I took and I trimmed this out. I left about a 1/4 inch fat on both sides, and I dug out the deep gouges, the real hard fat that's not going to render. Here, this is a Mojo Rub Barbecue Magic, so we're just going to put us a liberal rub on this. All right, y'all have seen people apply rub to meat millions of times at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish both sides, and we're gonna go ahead and get this smoker all the way up to temp. It's running about 300 now. I need it up to 400. So I'm having to stoke a fire a lot bigger than what I normally would for a low and slow cook, obviously. I've got it built up pretty good. I'm primarily using post stoke, but I also have some of this big lump charcoal, the Fogo lump charcoal, and around that, because that charcoal gets really hot as well as the post stoke, and it's going to take that to maintain 400 degrees. Right now I'm holding at 393. I say I'm holding, it's actually coming up, and so we're going to be holding somewhere between 390 to 400 over the next few hours. And what I'm shooting for is color. Once I get the color I want, then we're going to do a wrap on this, and we're going to lower the temp some. We're just going to let it finish out. So I'm getting ready to pop the lid open here, and we're going to go on with the brisket. I know this pit fairly well, so I'm putting the flat towards the back, and I'm putting the point towards the front. So we're going to close her up. There's no need to put a temperature probe in this right now, because like I said, we're just shooting for color at this stage. We're going to take a look at it after about 1 hour. Meantime, I'm going to be tending this fire, keeping it ramped up around 400 degrees. So why hot and fast brisket? Well, I've been watching other channels do this now for a year or so, and it's just something I've been wanting to try. I got my hands on a Wagyu. That's a really good brisket to do it with, because there's so much fat in it. It's very forgiving, kind of like pork butt, so rich in fat to where it's really kind of hard to screw them up. So normally I wouldn't do this with a really good cut of brisket, but I've seen success through other YouTubers, so I thought I'd give it a try. YouTubers such as Greg over there at Ballistic Barbecue, he's done it. Troy at T-Roy Cooks, Harry Sue, watched him. There's others, you know, but anyway, it inspired me to give it a try myself, so here we go. Been 1 hour exactly. Let's take a look. Oh my goodness. Look at the color on that already. Tell you what, this ain't got to go much more at all. I'm going to have to watch this real close. I might go another 10-15 minutes, and then we're going to wrap this. 1 hour in. And I am holding 400. Actually, it's rose a little bit over that. I got the lid open now, so I'm not getting a real good reading, but I was like 405 when I opened it. So that tells you one thing. Not only can you achieve real low and slow temps with this offset, you can get them real hot and high too. All right, it's been 15 minutes. I have a feeling we're about done as far as getting the color I want. And that thing is frying. I mean, look at that. Oh yeah, that's definitely where it needs to stay. God, it smells good. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this in butcher paper. We're gonna put a good wrap on it. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to put this back on the pit, and we're going to let that temperature start falling to what we'd normally have, around 250-ish. In we go. Like I said, I'm just going to let the temperature fall naturally, then I'm going to try to maintain around 250. We'll be probing probably in a couple hours to see how we're looking. It has been 1.5 hours since I wrapped this brisket, and like I said earlier, I'm just letting it fall naturally, and I'm at 300 and right at 57 degrees still. Internal temperature of 165, almost 166. We've been going for 2.5 hours approximately, and my fire is very small. So for any of you that don't think that 1/4 inch steel can retain heat, you're wrong. 1/4 inch is the way to go. This thing is holding temps like a Kamado would. I swear. It's, I mean, hour and a half and it still hasn't fell where I want it at, but that's cool. That's what you want on a hot and fast. You don't want a abrupt drop in temperature. You want it to start at that 400 and just gradually work its way down. By the time this is finally where I'm shooting for, which is around 250 to 275, our brisket should be getting in that range, thereabouts anyway. A while back I did a video about beef jerky from the Smokehouse Bayou right down the road from me. Well, Brian Ducharme, the guy that runs that makes that outstanding jerky, he hooked me up. This is some of his homemade boudin. And we're getting hungry out here waiting on this brisket, so we're gonna throw this on a Weber kettle, gonna smoke it a little bit. And I'm not sure exactly how he makes this, but I did read something on his Facebook post that the first thing he does is he smokes the pork. So this has got smoked pork within this boudin. So I'm just gonna take and cut this loose, and we're gonna put it on the pit. That's what I'm talking about. My pit temperature is now at 266 degrees at grate, and my internal temperature on the brisket is 205, almost 206 degrees. And I probed it when it was around 200, and it was probing pretty good. And I'm gonna probe it again now that it's up to this temperature. Keep in mind, this is really high in fat because it is Wagyu, and that means it could get really tender quicker than what most briskets do, which normally I shoot for like 210. So I'm in a ballpark now anyway. But I've got this boudin over here. It's completely grilled. It's got a nice color on it, and we're just gonna take and cut a little piece off. Brian gave me this so I could give him my honest feedback on how he did with this. Got a really nice snap on this casing here. That's a natural casing. Fantastic, dude. Excellent recipe. That's some of the better I've had in a while. I promise you. I've had some really good boudin, and then I've had some not so good. Oh, there's a little spice in this too. Nice kick. Excellent job, buddy. Big thumbs up. Now, I'm sorry, guys. Maybe I can talk Brian into showing you how he made this one day, but you got to be here in Ocean Springs, Mississippi if you want to try some of this. Good stuff. All right, we're going to take a look. We're going to probe this and see where we're at. We ought to be getting real close. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out for the time being. Let's see what we got here. Get it through the paper. Oh yeah, that feels really good. What we got? We got 204. Getting the center, 204. You can see where I've been probing this already. 206, 207. That's 206. That paper will fool you because that paper gives you a little bit of drag until you get through it. Then you can feel just how tender the meat is. 202. All right, we're good enough. All right, this is the moment of truth. Let's see how we done. I'm gonna take and I'm gonna unwrap this brisket from this paper. at the juices on that. Lord have mercy. It's been resting right at an hour, and it's still pretty doggone hot. I'm gonna go ahead and start slicing into it. And I can tell you right now, look at this. Man, that thing is like jello. This is super tender. All right, I put a little indentation here, the way the grain is running, so I'm cutting against it. I'm gonna go about 1/4 inch slices. Oh, I am really surprised. Look at the smoke ring on that. And man, this thing only got like an hour's worth of smoke. I've been told that this doesn't taste like your typical brisket, but for the fact that it didn't smoke very long. You know, normally a brisket would get a good 3 to 4 hour smoke, and a lot of times a lot more than that, but a minimum of 3 to 4 hours smoke, and this only got 1 hour. All right, this is the flat section right here, and I'm here to tell you what, this is super juicy. Look at the hang on that, man. That is perfect. Do a little, oh my God, look at that. Let's do a little taste test here. Man. That literally melts in your mouth. That is probably the most tenderest brisket I've ever had. Not a lot of smoke there, guaranteed. I think I prefer the low and slow because you do get that good smoke on it. But man, if you want a brisket in a hurry, I did this in a record time, 5 hours start to finish. This was a 12-pound brisket. All right, let's take and see. I do believe this is the point right here. We're just going to take and remove this because the grain runs in a different direction. And that'll have to be sliced in a different direction. All right, so let's take a slice out of the middle of the flat. Tell you what, the flat is your lean part of the brisket compared to the point. But look at that. I mean, it's just super juicy. Can you see all that juice on there? Let's try the point. We're just going to cut right down the middle. Look at that, man. It is just saturated. So let's take a slice out of this point. This stuff is still pretty hot. Look at the hang on that. No effort at all. That is brisket perfection, folks. Really excellent meat. There's no doubt about it. I couldn't ask for a better brisket. It is, I'm glad I pulled it when I did because it's right there. I mean, it's super tender, and much more it would have fell apart. It is Wagyu, and like I said, when you're cooking anything, any brisket like that high in fat, you really got to probe it and know when it's ready. Don't go by temperature because it could just fall apart on you, and this one came real close. Now, the one thing that I feel like is missing in this compared to most briskets is the smoke. Smoke, it to me is a seasoning, and it's something, a big part of barbecue. You know, that's just part of barbecue, and it's lacking in that. That's because of the very extreme fast cook before we wrapped it. But if you want a brisket in a hurry, this is definitely a way to go with great results. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, smoke your ribs.